Good evening, everyone. Can you hear my voice clearly? Okay. So we will start with today's class, community dentistry. Everyone can hear my voice clearly, right? Okay. So today's topic, before starting the topic, let me remind you that there is a test on next Sunday of community dentistry. So the entire week we will be having all the community dentistry classes. Okay. So I want you to revise all the keynotes of community dentistry and also go through the earlier papers with the preventive community dentistry portion as well as with the preventive social medicine portion in the medical papers. Okay, we are also asked questions from PSM. Especially in All India, PSM questions are asked. The first 5-6 questions are from PSM. So go through the last 5 to 10 years papers. Okay. So today's topic is preventive dentistry. Now the topic will be, voice is low. Now the voice is okay? Or still it is low? Voice is clear enough? Okay. Kamal, is the voice okay? Still low. Now the voice is okay? Okay, now it's fine. So the topics we'll be covering under preventive dentistry is caries activity tests, levels of prevention, principles of health education and fluorides. We'll also be covering one more topic, that is Pitt and Fisher sealants. It's not mentioned here. Okay. Coming to caries activity tests. Now, first you need to know what is caries activity and what is caries susceptibility, the difference between the two. Caries activity refers to the increment of active lesions, new and recurrent, over a stated period of time. So it is actually the measure of speed. It is how fast a caries lesion progresses from an incipient lesion to a mild, moderate and a severe caries lesion. The speed at which it travels is actually the activity. So a test which measures this activity is a caries activity test. Okay. But what is susceptibility now? It refers to the inherent tendency of a host and a target tissue, that is the tooth, to be afflicted by the caries process. It is the resistance of a tooth to a caries producing environment. So susceptibility is what? That is the patient more prone to caries, or is he less prone, or is he normally prone? That is depending upon his dietary habits, depending upon his oral hygiene practices, we come to know whether a patient is more prone to a caries lesion or less prone. That is the resistance of his oral environment or the resistance of the tooth. So activity is the speed at which the caries progresses, and susceptibility is the resistance, that is how prone the patient is to a disease or to dental caries. Okay, you're clear between these two terms? Okay, so there are different tests which are used for measuring the activity and for measuring the susceptibility. So for caries activity, there are lactobacillus test, Snyder test, Albin's test, swab test and streptococcus mutans test. Now there are many other tests also, but for the MCQ point of view, these are the only tests which are usually asked. For caries susceptibility, it's the enamel solubility test, reductase test and the saliva buffer capacity test. We'll go through each of the tests. Okay, now what do you need to know in each of the tests? You need to know who has given that test, in which year it has been given, how is the test done. In a very short 2 or 3 sentences, you need to know how the procedure is done and then how the diagnosis or the interpretation of the test is done. Okay. Now, the lactobacillus test. This was introduced by Hadley in 1933 and popularized by Jay. So you need to know these two names, Hadley and Jay. Now, how is this lactobacillus test done? Diluted saliva is taken, stimulated by paraffin wax. What does this mean? A patient is told to chew paraffin for at least 2 to 3 minutes, and after chewing the paraffin, the saliva which is stimulated in the oral cavity is taken in a test tube or is taken in a container, and it is put over Ragosa SL agar plates. Okay, these are agar plates on which this saliva is placed, and then these plates are incubated for 3 to 4 days at 37 degrees Celsius, and then the number of colonies are counted under a magnifying glass or under a microscope. Okay, this is how it is done. Saliva is put on agar plates, it is incubated, and then the number of colonies is counted. So this is the procedure. Now, how do we interpret? This is the chart of interpretation. Okay. Now, if there is 0 to 1000 organisms per cc, the degree of caries activity is very less. If it is 1000 to 5000, it is slight. If it is 5000 to 10,000, it is moderate, and more than 10,000, it is marked. Okay. And there are symbolic designations given. So, frequently MCQ questions asked are, they give you a symbolic designation and they tell you what degree of caries activity it is. So, be very careful with this plus minus, which is little, plus is slight, 2 plus is moderate, and 3 or more of them is marked. Next we come to the Snyder's test. Now, this was given by Snyder as the test says, so it is easy to learn the name. Now, what is this test basically based on? It is based on the ability of a salivary microorganism to form organic acids from the carbohydrate media. Now, I'll tell you how it is done, so it will be easy to know the principle. Again, saliva is taken in a similar way by chewing of paraffin wax, and then it is pipetted into a liquid medium. Now, this liquid medium contains bromocresol green. Bromocresol green is an indicator dye which is used in this Snyder test. And then these samples are incubated at 50 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. And after that, we actually see the color of the medium. Okay. You take saliva in a liquid medium which contains bromocresol green. It is kept for 72 hours incubated, and then we see the interpretation. Now, after 24 hours, if the dye is green in color, remember, okay? So after 24 hours, if it becomes yellow, the patient has marked caries susceptibility. But if it is green, you still continue to incubate it. Now after 48 hours, if it is yellow, it is definite caries susceptibility. But if it is green, you can still continue to incubate it. If at 72 hours it is yellow, it is limited caries susceptibility, and if it is green, it is caries inactive. Okay. So here you actually see the color of the dye changing from green to yellow. If it is at 24 hours, it is marked. If it is at 48 hours, it is definite. If it is at 72 hours, it is very less. So bromocresol green dye is used in Snyder's test. This is a MCQ question asked. Swab test. Swab test, good for you. There is no name to be learned as if who found out. Now here what it is done, swabbing of the buccal surfaces of tooth is done. Okay, which is done either by cotton or with a tongue blade, and then it is put in a medium. And this medium, you can measure the pH. Now, has everyone seen a pH meter? Okay, pH meter is actually a machine which has an electrode attached to it, and the tip of the electrode can be put into the solution. As soon as you put the tip of the electrode in the solution, the pH meter gives you a reading. Okay, it gives you a reading in numericals of how much the pH is. In earlier days, we used to use pH papers. The color of the paper used to change. But nowadays, you have a meter which actually can give you a reading. So, once the swabbed surfaces of the teeth, the saliva is put into the medium and then it is measured in a pH meter. Now, the interpretation, if the pH is 4.1 or less than 4.1, it's marked caries activity. Yeah, litmus paper was earlier used. And there were other papers also which could actually, litmus was only red to blue and blue to red, but there were other papers also which showed different colors. But nowadays we use pH meters. Okay? pH 4.2 to 4.4 is active. 4.5 to 4.6 is slightly active. And pH 4.6 and over is inactive. This is wrong. It is inactive. So the lower the pH, the patient is more prone to caries because it is an acidic pH. But as we go higher, the patient keeps becoming inactive. Okay? That is the swab test. Then is the Streptococcus mutans level in saliva. Now how do you measure this? Tongue blades are given to patients. Okay, tongue blades are something like ice cream sticks, candy ice cream sticks. That tongue blade, the patient puts it in his mouth and rotates it for 10 to 20 times so that the saliva comes on the tongue blade. And then this tongue blade is no, it only measures the pH. It is only for measuring the pH. So lower the pH, it means there is more acidic, acidic pH means the patient is more prone to caries. It only measures the pH. So the pH actually shows you the acid production only. Snyder test gives you the pH because it changes the dye from green to yellow. But here actually the pH meter reads the pH of the saliva. So the lower the pH of the saliva, the patient is more prone. Saliva has all bicarbonates and fluorides and etc. But if the patient does not have a good alkaline pH saliva, he is more prone to caries. Okay? Everything is measuring the organisms and how the organisms can produce acids. But they measure a different thing. In this they measure the pH of the saliva. Here in this they measure the Streptococcus mutans, the number of microorganisms present in the saliva. Here what you do, a tongue Snyder test is something in where the saliva is put into a liquid medium. This liquid medium comprises of bromocresol green dye. Okay? And then you incubate it for 24 hours. If it becomes yellow, that is the dye changes color from green to yellow, the patient has marked caries susceptibility. If it is green, you still continue to incubate for 48 hours. After 48 hours, if it becomes yellow, it is definite caries susceptibility. But if it is green, you can still continue to incubate for next 72 hours. If it is yellow, it's limited caries susceptibility, and if it is green, the patient is caries inactive. So here it measures the pH by using the dye bromocresol green, which gradually converts from green to yellow depending upon the organisms present. Whereas in Streptococcus, in swab test, what is measured is the pH of the saliva in the medium is measured. So if the pH is between 4.1 or less than 4.1, it's marked caries, and as the pH goes higher, the patient is actually inactive. So in both cases the pH is measured, but here a dye is used. A bromocresol green dye is used, but here a pH meter is used. Clear? Now in Streptococcus mutans level in saliva, the tongue blade is put into the patient's mouth and all the saliva, he is asked to rotate it for 10 to 15 times. The tongue blade is removed and it is pressed against S mutans selective agar. Okay. This agar plates are then incubated for 34 degrees Celsius for 3 to 4 days. Okay. And then how do you interpret? Here the levels of S mutants are interpreted. In the earlier tests we actually saw pH. In lactobacillus test, we saw the level of lactobacillus. Whereas here we see the level of microorganisms, S mutants. So if it is more than 105 per ml of saliva, it is unacceptable. That is, the patient is highly caries active when the levels of S mutants is more than 105 per ml. If it is less, then the patient may have a mild caries activity. Okay. Albin's test. This was given by Albin. Here 60 grams of Snyder test agar was used. Yeah, it may be 10 raised to 5. I'm sorry about that. It is 10 raised to 5. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry about that. It's 10 raised to 5 per ml of saliva. Okay. No, it's 10 raised to 5 per ml of saliva, because the number of microorganisms cannot be seen in such low amounts. They will be seen in very high amounts. So it's 10 raised to 5 per ml of saliva. Okay. Now Albin's test, here 60 grams of Snyder test agar is used. Okay. So remember, in Snyder's test bromocresol green is used, but in Albin's test Snyder test agar is used. It is actually a test derived from Snyder's test. That is why the same agar plates have been used. Now 60 grams of this agar is placed in 1 liter of water and then it is boiled so that the agar actually melts. Then it is put into small tubes of 5 ml tubes which are autoclaved, and then they are refrigerated. They are kept in a refrigerator to cool for about 15 minutes. After this, these tubes are removed, okay, and the patient expectorates in that. That is, he spits his saliva in these tubes, and these are incubated at 37 degrees Celsius for 4 days. And then what you see is the change of color from green to yellow. Okay, the same pH color change you need to see. But see, here it is for 4 days. So every day you need to inspect these tubes to see the color. Now, if every day there is no change in the color and it is negative for all 4 days, it is negative for the entire test period, then the patient is caries inactive. That is, it's negative. But if the color keeps subsequently changing in the 4 days, that is, he has a positive reading. That is, he is caries active. Now, is he more caries active or is he less caries active? How do you see? If in the 4 days the color changes very quickly, the patient is highly caries active. But if it changes its color very slowly throughout the 4 days, then the patient is caries active but less. Yes, lesser number of days. So you don't need to learn all the readings, but you at least need to know that it is negative. If it's negative for the entire test period, it's negative, and all other readings are positive. Okay. 2 tubes are taken so that we can actually see that we do not make a mistake in 1 tube. We actually use two tubes to see that both the tubes actually change the color similarly. If there is some difference, we may have made a mistake. So 2 tubes is okay. You need to see that the color changes simultaneously in both the tubes. Next is a salivary buffer capacity test. Okay, this is a caries susceptibility test. Here what you do, 2 ml of saliva is collected under paraffin oil and added to 4 ml distilled water. Okay, 2 ml of saliva is collected and then 4 ml of distilled water is added to it. And this is sealed with a paraffin wax. The tube is sealed. Next what you do, you add lactic acid to it. You actually measure the pH of this solution, saliva and distilled water, and then you add lactic acid to bring the pH to 7. Okay. You need to know the procedure because you need to know what is used. Okay. So if I just tell you that lactic acid is used in salivary buffer capacity or it will not be easy to learn. Okay, if you just go through the procedure once and just know what ingredient is used, it will be sufficient enough. Okay, and that is why it is actually a very long procedure, but we are telling you in short so that easy for you to remember. So what you do, saliva is taken with water, lactic acid is added to this to bring a pH to 7, okay? And then lactic acid is again added, sorry, this is not lactic acid. Lactic acid is added to bring the pH to 7, and then another ingredient is added, an alkaline ingredient, just one. Okay. 2 ml of saliva is collected and it is put in distilled water, and lactic acid is added to bring the pH to 7. Now, lactic acid or any other medium is added to bring the pH to 7. Once the pH is brought to 7, and again lactic acid is added to bring the pH to 6, to lower the pH from 7 to 6. Now, how much lactic acid is actually used to bring down the pH from 7 to 6 actually tells us the susceptibility of the environment. That is, if a lot of ml of lactic acid is used to bring down the pH from 7 to 6, that is the okay, there are many methods of doing the salivary buffer capacity test. We can go by this method also. You make a note of this as well as you go through your keynotes. This is the standard one given in Sobin-Peter, but other tests can also be done. That is why it is not given a specific name. Here you just need to know the buffer capacity of the saliva. That is the saliva alkaline enough to resist caries? Okay. So what you do, the number of ml of lactic acid which is actually used to bring down the pH from 7 to 6. Okay, more the number of ml used, the patient is more caries active. Less the number of ml used, the patient is less caries active. Okay, understood? When the pH, the number of ml of lactic acid actually needed to bring the pH from 7 to 6 helps to tell you how much the patient is prone. Because this, when you're bringing the acidic pH, you're bringing the pH from 7 to 6, you actually come to know how much is the saliva resisting, how much is the alkaline effect of the saliva. You're getting this? Everybody got it, or you need, you want me to explain it once more? Okay. So if more acid is required, the patient is more prone, because if the number of ml of lactic acid to bring down the pH from 7 to 6, if more you're right, if more acid is required, it's a less prone person. It's inversely proportional, because if more amount of acid is required to bring down the pH, that means the patient has a very high resistant saliva. But if less amount of acid is required to bring down from 7 to 6, the patient is more prone. Yeah, it's more of a buffer. This is inversely proportional. Okay, see, whenever a microorganism is acting on a tooth, what does it produce? It produces acids. Okay, and at the same time, what does the saliva do? The saliva tries to protect the tooth from caries. So the saliva has to be highly resistant to prevent the caries effect. So here we are measuring the saliva, that how much ml of lactic acid is actually required to bring down the pH. If more number of ml is required, that means the saliva is more resistant. But if less number of saliva, less number of lactic acid is required, that means the saliva is not very resistant. More number of ml of lactic acid required to bring down the production from 7 to 6, the patient is less prone. Yes, the patient is less susceptible. Inversely proportional. More lactic acid, less prone. Less lactic acid, more prone. Got it? Okay. Next is the enamel solubility test. Again a caries susceptibility test. What you do here, the saliva is taken, a patient's saliva is taken, glucose is added and powdered enamel is added, okay? And earlier only the calcium present in the solution is measured. After certain time, that is after about 2 to 4 days, acid starts forming. Why? Because there is Glucose is there, saliva is there, it keeps acting on the powdered enamel. Microorganisms present in the saliva keep acting on the powdered enamel, and the soluble calcium increases because there is decalcification of the enamel. So actually the increase in amount of calcium is the direct measure of caries susceptibility. Okay. This is an easy test. Saliva is taken, glucose is added, that is your carbohydrate is added, powdered enamel is added. Okay. In a tube, you take glucose, the patient's saliva and the powdered enamel. Now what is glucose? Glucose is a carbohydrate, any food substance you eat. Okay. Saliva comprises of microorganisms and powdered enamel is actually your tooth. Okay. Now here the calcium is measured. How much calcium is present? Free calcium is present in the solution. Okay. Free calcium will be very less because more of the calcium is in the enamel. Next, after 4 days, what happens? The microorganisms in the saliva react with glucose to form acids. These acids act on the powdered enamel, that is, it acts on the tooth. Yes, let me come to it. Once the organic acid is formed, enamel starts decalcifying and soluble calcium starts coming in the solution. Now when you measure the calcium in the solution, you will have a lot of soluble calcium. So the more the amount of calcium, the patient is more prone because his saliva is so less resistant that there are so many microorganisms actually acting on the enamel. So more the amount of soluble calcium present in the solution after 4 days, the patient is more prone. No, enamel powder is not taken from the patient. Enamel powder is something which is present in the labs. Here we are taking only the saliva from the patient. Powdered enamel is present in the labs. We are not taking the patient's enamel. A normal powdered enamel which is not carious is taken. Yeah, okay. And then we see the amount of soluble calcium. So, more the amount of soluble calcium, the patient is more prone because more microorganisms are present in his saliva. Okay? Okay. Now, salivary reductase test. Okay, this is also a caries susceptibility test. Trade name is Treatex. You get a salivary reductase packet in Treatex named packet. It's a trade name. Here a diisosorcinol is taken. Okay, and this is put in the whatever stimulated saliva is taken from the patient. It is mixed in this dye, and the reading is taken after 15 minutes. Now, if it is blue after 15 minutes, the patient is not at all caries active. If it is orchid color after 15 minutes, he is slightly conducive. If it's red after 15 minutes, it's moderately conducive. If it's red immediately, he is highly active. If it's pink or white immediately, he is extremely active. Maybe this chart is not there in your keynotes, so make a note of it because this is also asked as an MCQ question. That if it is it is orchid in color after 15 minutes, what is the caries activity? Okay. So, this chart is given in Sobin-Peter in the caries activity test chapter. You can make a note from that. But you need to remember the colors and the time and the caries activity because these are asked MCQ questions. Okay. So, quickly match the following, so that I know that you people are actually paying attention. You want to copy the slide, Kamal? We'll do that once the lecture ends. Okay? We need to go through this lecture. Once the lecture gets over, I'll go back to the slide and you can copy it. Okay? We'll go with this match the following question. Is it okay, Kamal? Okay. So the first caries activity test 1 is, okay. Everyone who gave the answers earlier, can you please give it again? Caries activity test. One is not H. One is not H. Lucky Mittal, one is not H. Now why is everybody? Caries activity test. What do caries activity tests tell you? Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Here caries, what is, I don't want the names of caries activity test. Yes. Sambit and Aparna, they are right. Caries activity test is progression of the caries lesion. Yes. Okay, now everybody got it. Now Albin's test. What material does Albin's test use? Yes, Albin's test uses Snyder test agar. Yes. Kamal, Bindu, all right. Okay, Sambit, it's not E. Albin's test is G. 2 is G. Okay. Caries susceptibility test. Now, don't tell me a test name. Okay. What does a caries susceptibility tell you? The definition of caries susceptibility test. Yes. F. Yes. Kamal, you're right. It's resistance to caries lesion. Snyder test. What does Snyder use? Four is E. Yes. You use bromocresol green. Lactobacillus. 5. Lactobacillus test. H. Yes. It was given by Hadley in 1933. Salivary reductase test. Salivary reductase test. Yes. It uses this dye. Enamel solubility test. 7. Enamel solubility test. Yes. Enamel solubility test, calcium amount is measured. Salivary buffer capacity test. Yes, lactic acid is used. So you came to know, you just need to know actually what is used in what test. And you need to remember the charts. If you don't want to go through the procedure also, it is okay.